internet's been ablaze these last couple days because of a gold book purportedly found in Saudi Arabia with Hebrew inscriptions on them. I get why people are excited about this. I mean, they look like the gold plates of the Book of Mormon. It seems almost too good to be true. And that's because it is too good to be true. I've had a lot of people reach out to me, comments, DMs, asking me to respond to this. And so I've been looking into it. I've reached out to friends who are a lot more experienced in Middle Eastern antiquities. And it does indeed appear that this is most likely a modern forgery, not a genuine ancient artifact. So I'm going to break down how we can tell this is a forgery and why, as Latter-day Saints, we really need to be very careful about how we evaluate Book of Mormon evidence so that we don't undercut our own argument, because there is excellent evidence for the Book of Mormon. This is just not it. So first we need to address the origins of this artifact. This artifact was not found in a controlled archaeological dig. And whenever something sensational like this pops up outside of these very controlled conditions, we should be very cautious. When objects are found in an archaeological site, experts are there on site to help determine how it's being uncovered, what's in the surrounding dirt, where it is located in the stratigraphy layers, so that they can better understand the context and the provenance or the origins of this artifact. When someone's just pulling an artifact out of a bag, we have no way of knowing its origins, where it came from, or any of the context that would help us make sense of this artifact. In this case, Miles Jones was the one who was shown these plates by unnamed individuals at an undisclosed location. And apparently it was just like pulled out of a bag. So we have no way of knowing where it came from. And the fact is, there's been a thriving trade in fake antiquities in the Middle East for years. Plenty of scandals have even involved serious academic and national institutions. There are hundreds of individuals who are trying to sell Jews and Christians crude fakes with nonsense Hebrew inscriptions and what they think are Jewish symbols for sums of money as high as like tens of millions of dollars. So there's absolutely motive for someone to want to fabricate a fake Jewish artifact like this. There's even an Israeli collector who has an entire gallery on his website of all of the people who have tried to come to him to sell him their forgeries. And some of these forgeries are actually uncannily similar to this gold book. The style of embossing or stamping also appears to be modern, like the clusters of designs and the motifs, especially the stars and the random dot clusters. This is really, really common on these kinds of fakes. This Israeli collector on his website even has a picture of one of these forgeries with an embossed seal that is an identical match to one of the embossed seals on the gold book. The menorah designs that are found on this gold book also appear to be copied from the Arch of Titus, and that specific design appears on a lot of other fake artifacts. The Arch of Titus is a monument built in Rome to commemorate the destruction of Jerusalem in around 70 AD. And on there's a panel that has a depiction of the temple menorah from Herod's temple. It's probably the most famous, most iconic depiction of the menorah in history, but it's not the only one. We do have other depictions of the ancient temple menorah, and those portrayals and drawings and mosaics, they vary quite a bit. Yet all of these forgeries always tend to copy this most famous, iconic depiction of the menorah, and so it's a little suspicious. And this one's a clincher for me. It's the actual Hebrew inscriptions on these plates. So the letters here are noticeably amateurish. There's like random gibberish Hebrew phrases. It seems like this was done by someone who didn't really understand Hebrew very well. And there's mixing of different scripts. And a lot of these scripts are actually poor imitations of modern 20th century Hebrew cursive. Mixing scripts on an inscription itself is not necessarily a deal breaker. We do see some of that going on in the ancient world. But using later scripts that wouldn't have existed at the time the artifact originated is a bit of an anachronism that is just not going to fly. According to Miles Jones, he believes that this artifact should be dating to like 2,000 years ago. And that just doesn't line up with the scripts that are being portrayed on the plates here. And then there's just the shape and the state of this artifact itself. I mean, look at how regular the plates are with these perfectly straight edges and these perfectly rounded corners, almost like a credit card, indicating that it might be machine made. Even the perfectly round binder ring shape looks like it could have been machine fabricated in modern times. Initial analysis suggests that these plates are not similar to any known genuine artifacts, but instead they do bear a striking resemblance to a number of fraudulent Jordanian artifacts, including a controversial set of lead books that many experts believe are also fake. The Arabian gold book wasn't presented as a standalone item. Instead, it was accompanied by a number of lead books, which were apparently all archived together, and yet these lead plates seem to have been artificially aged the same way that scholars believe that the Jordanian fakes were, and also the scale and the size of these plates matches those other fakes really well. Guys, you know me. I love Book of Mormon evidence. I share it all the time, and I believe that there are many impressive things to support its authenticity. But on this particular item, there are some pretty major red flags that should give us pause before uncritically embracing this gold book as authentic. We even have good Book of Mormon evidence when it comes to plates. We've got evidence for metal plates, writing on plates, the size of plates, the quantity of plates. There's just a lot of great stuff out there. But when we promote fake artifacts as evidence for the Book of Mormon, it can actually serve to undermine some of the good artifacts and the solid evidence that can support the authenticity of the Book of Mormon. We believe the church is true. We believe in being honest with our fellow men. And so I believe that as disciples, we have an obligation to be truthful and honest in supporting our position instead of just uncritically clinging to unverified claims just because it sounds like it's supportive of what we believe. There is a lot more to be discovered about the Book of Mormon and the Book of Mormon plates, and I'm really excited to see what new discoveries do show up in the future. And there's a lot that already has been discovered. And so if you're interested in learning more about this, go to evidencecentral.org, where we have article after article on metal plates in the ancient world. And shout out to my friend Alan Hansen for helping me break this down.